Okay, here we are, everyone. Eric Coover here, and I'm actually reporting to you from Brisbane, Australia. This is an international start talk we've got tonight. Actually, it's daytime here in Australia, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in across the globe. We are so excited always about these start talks where we get to ask and really get into the brains of many of the start ambassadors and get all of your questions answered. And we do these the first Monday of every month, and we're excited to have the one and only, and she is epically known for her hair tossing ability. I can tell that she's grown it out extra long for this start talk. She just rocked out a huge event in Knoxville. So Audrye Hair Toss Moss, how are you? Just give us a demo. Just give us the whole demo. Give us a hair toss demo.
Listen, girl, it's all about hairspray. Kendra Hair Products makes it flexible but firm hold as well. That's network marketing. I wonder how many girls will go get Kendra hairspray now.
You gotta love that, word of mouth. But they don't pay you to go tell your friends about Kendra hairspray.
No, I don't get $54 when someone goes and gets a Kendra hairspray bottle.
That's messed up.
I know, I don't understand.
So I can see you're in your room right now. I can see you got your little start award up there. Let's get. Can we get like the 360 tour of Audrye Moss's room?
This is awkward, but sure, why not? Okay, so this is my room. It's colorful. I love color. Those are my. I'm bad at this. That's my other start stuff. Oh, I got my Australian kangaroos up there. I got Australia all over. I love Australia. I love my Kangaland. So they're like my blow-up kangaroos are in the other corner. So
I love it. Well, I know we're gonna get into your trip over down under Australia later on in the start talk, but we're going to get right into this bad boy because we've had so many people. As soon as we announced that you were doing the start talk, the thread on Facebook went absolutely nuts, and there were so many questions around college students.
Yeah.
And I know that you have built really your whole entire team basically on people between the ages of like 18 and 22 years old who are going through college. And of course, you know, at Isagenix in this Start Your Life movement, we encourage everybody to go to college. I know I went to college. I'm all about college, and it's an important thing to do. But it's also a time where college students can, you know, start getting exposed to additional streams of income and really embrace this as a big business model. And I know many people watching in tonight, and the questions that came on were just, they were all hungry to know how you kind of attract college students into your business. I know we had questions from Don Kassirer and also Dylan Cost. So if you guys are watching, thank you guys for your questions. So why don't you just maybe go into a little bit about how you go about really attracting college students into your Isagenix business. You know, what's kind of some of the stuff you allow them to kind of cast a vision on them? You know, what's kind of some of the stuff that you talk about when you're talking to college students?
Okay, well, first of all, when you're speaking to anyone about Isagenix, it's so important to be passionate about what you're talking about. People come thousands of miles just to watch someone burn, and especially with college students, they want fire and they want freedom, and they've never heard about an opportunity like Isagenix. They've never heard about residual income. They don't know the power behind residual income. So the biggest thing is, I mean, for anybody, but especially for college students, to cast a vision of what their life can look like. I was on the phone with someone just today. She's 20 years old. She's a college student in North Carolina. And I asked her a question. I said, so what do you do right now? And she said, I work at a boutique. And I said, okay, so what would you do tomorrow if you had an unlimited amount of money? You could choose what you wanted to do. You didn't have to worry about a boss. What would you do? And she said, nobody's ever asked me that question before. People aren't asked a question of what they would do if they could pursue the life of their dreams. So the vision is huge. Most college students between 18, 19, 20, and 21 years old, they don't understand stats. They don't get, you know, the growth of companies, which is important to know. It's good for yourself to know that. But the majority of young college students, they don't care about that. They care about traveling the world. They care about freedom. They care about what their life can look like when they graduate college, that they have a choice. That's what I like to share with them, that they will have a choice at the end of their 4 years, 3 years later, 2 years later, that they'll have a choice whether or not they would like to go to their 9-to-5 job because they want to, not because they have to. And so it's extremely important to cast a vision. Listen to what they have to say instead of just talking. And I'm a talker. I love to talk. But shut your mouth and listen to their dreams. What is it that makes their heart come alive? Because they have never even been asked a question like that before.
Audrye, I love that. Can you just repeat that question one more time just so everybody kind of gets it? What did you say to that person to kind of pull their vision out of them?
So I said to her, I said, okay, so you work at a boutique. What if you could wake up tomorrow, you had an unlimited amount of money, you didn't have to go to your boutique, you didn't have a job to go to, you didn't have a boss to check into. What would you do tomorrow if you could wake up and just decide? She said, well, I would like travel and go to the beach. I was like, sister, I will go there with you. So she's like, no one's ever asked me that before. And here's the other thing. I said to her, as soon as she said that, I said to her, have you ever heard of residual income? She said, no, I haven't. That's really, really important. Because when I was in Australia, I was like, have you guys heard of residual income? And everyone was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. But college students, they have not really even heard of residual income. So it's our job as teachers, as mentors, as someone that's introducing them to this incredible opportunity and this gift to show them and to, in a simple way. And I always use the singer-songwriter. Singer-songwriter builds an album for an entire year. They work really, really, really hard. That album comes out on the radio today. For any time from that point on, that singer, their song plays all over the world. 40 years later, Britney Spears is whatever. She's in Brazil. She's doing her thing. And Oops, I Did It Again plays a million times all over the world. If she makes 10 cents for every time those songs play, that means she just made $100,000 for something she built one time. Can you imagine what your life would be like? They said, I've never heard of something like that before. That's exactly what Isagenix can give you over a period of time, because it doesn't happen overnight. And then boom, they get residual income. They want it.
Awesome. I love that analogy with the Britney Spears thing. Of course, I know you love Britney Spears, so throw that in there.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So, okay, so what I'm hearing is cast a vision, but the way you cast a vision is by asking them a powerful question, like you just said. You know, and basically what you're saying is if you had an unlimited amount of time, unlimited amount of money, what would you be doing with your life? And allow them to respond. And then you're following up with the question, have you ever heard of residual income?
Every time. Every single time. Without fail.
Then you're doing some education on residual income.
Right. Painting it very clearly, because especially for people who are younger, they like to visualize things. They like to see things. So if you can paint a very clear picture, speak slowly when you do it, then they'll understand for the rest of their life, and it'll click that they too can have that same exact opportunity.
Absolutely. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about, because I know with college students, some people have, that notion that, college students can't afford this. Right. And that's probably one of the biggest objections that people get across the board. You see people post and start about it all the time. How can I overcome the price objection, especially with college students? So what's some of the things that how do you address that, and how do you kind of, I guess, create enough value so that the price isn't really an issue anymore for these students?
First of all, the way that you present Isagenix to people is the way that they're going to receive it. So if you're presenting Isagenix and the different packs that Isagenix has to offer as something that is like apprehensive, they're going to become apprehensive. So you need to be confident in what you're talking about. We always want to lead with the President's Pack, obviously. And I know in Australia, y'all are all about that press pack, so stay with the press pack. But you want to lead with the President's Pack. The truth is that from my own personal experience, it's difficult, and I've seen that, yes, it happens. We do enroll college students on President's Pack, but the majority of them cannot afford a $650 pack. So then we go to the 30-day system. The 30-day system, if you cannot afford the 30-day system, then what's incredible is that Eric Coover created the Shake and Shot Pack specifically for college students. It's $240, enrollment, taxes, shipping, everything. Boom. They get it to their door. Now, here's the important part. Before I even bring up prices, I show them the compensation plan. And the compensation plan is key. Because if they can see, oh man, don't get me started on the comp plan.
I know you just presented on the comp plan too. You just did a presentation like 20 minutes ago.
God. I'm like drawing those circles. I'm so fired up right now. $54. Okay, so the compensation plan is so important. So if you are presenting the compensation plan with passion and excitement, and you're showing them what they actually can do, that they can actually make this type of income, then when you present the packs to them and you show them that with the President's Pack, they'll get an $80 PIB. With the 30-day system, they'll get a $25 PIB. Then when you get to the actual packs, they're not going to be apprehensive about it because they've seen the potential that Isagenix can offer. But if price objection is an issue and they want this, I'm telling you what, get them in the system with what they can afford. Because here's the thing. Yes, we want to do President's Pack, and yes, we want to do the 30-day system, but people are the most important thing of this entire business. If somebody comes to me and they're like, Audrey, I want this so bad, and all I have is $225, and I want to do this because I've got friends and I've got family members that have health issues, and they have financial problems, I will never turn someone away because someone's life is more precious than a $25 or an $80 PIB for me personally. And when it comes to college students, if you can show them that comp plan, they get in the system and you show them immediately that 2 people gets them to consultant, they'll enroll on the spot.
Love that. So just...
I'm sweating right now. I need to drink my water.
All right, take a breather. There you go. So, get a little replenish in you.
Half of your body weight in ounces of water daily, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so basically what we're saying, again, Shake and Shot Pack, obviously lead with the President's Pack, and I know in Australia, if the Aussies are watching, you know, you
only
don't have only Pres Packs, keep going with the Pres Pack, and I know they don't have the Shake and Shot Pack, but if people, like you said, if they got $225, you know, you can drop down to that Shake and Shot Pack. It's a phenomenal option for college students. But also,
even lifestyle pack.
Healthy lifestyle pack, okay. But what you're also saying is, you know, show them how they can get their product paid for immediately. Show them the money.
Yes, immediately. That should be before you even talk about the prices of packs. You show them the compensation plan. I was on the phone with a girl today, 20 years old, real. This just happened. Went through the President's Pack. She said, I can't do that for 3 months. I said, 30-day system. She said, all I can do is $250. I said, okay, let me get your information. Wrote down all of her information. I said, we can get you in. She was like, I want to move this on my campus so bad. And I said, okay, listen. I said, what you start out with is what you're going to move. If you get $100 more in this, you are going to get the 30-day system, and then all of your friends in your sorority, they're all going to get the 30-day system as well. And she said, all right, I'm going to pull the trigger. I said, money back guarantee. You've got nothing to lose. She pulled the trigger on that. So you want to take it step by step. If someone can come in with $250, get them in with that, and then when you get their information, let them know that just by an extra $100, that they are coming in with the better pack.
Right. Got it. Okay. Audrey, every time I talk to you, I mean, and I hope everybody's picking up on this, and I know you mentioned one of the most important things when talking to college students is just getting excited, because young people, college students, they want to get excited about something. They pick up on your passion. And, I mean, you have the most contagious passion. I mean, and people show excitement and passion in different ways. And I want everybody to understand that they don't have to have, you know, an Audrey Moss personality in order to attract college students. But every different person has the ability to show their passion and get excited about something. And, I mean, you speak with so much conviction, and that's really what, you know, people have to have is conviction and certainty. Because just by you speaking, I mean, it doesn't matter what the heck you could be talking about. I just want to be a part of whatever you're talking about, because I want some of your energy and your passion in my life.
Oh, Eric.
It's true, though. I mean, so I just hope people are really picking up on, again, that conviction, that certainty, but also realizing you don't have to be the huge personality. Just show your conviction and passion and certainty in your own unique way.
Yeah, and the thing about passion is you can't be passionate about anything that hasn't completely transformed your life. You can't be passionate about anything that you don't truly believe in. So no, you do not have to have this big personality by any means. But if you are on this Google Hangout right now, it means that you're passionate about Isagenix. So when you're talking about it, come from that place, because people want truth. And they want something that's real. And when you're talking about something that has completely transformed your life, they can feel it from you through the tones of your voice. And I just don't know how someone can't be passionate about this opportunity. It's just like, I don't get it.
I know. I don't either. Okay. So moving on from college students, I think, you know, brilliant stuff there. Let's talk about, you talked about Australia at the beginning of the call, and I know that you know, we're about to rock out a big Aussie celebration here in Brisbane.
So much FOMO that I'm not there.
I know. We are going to miss you big time. But you're going to be here next year. You better be here next year.
Totally next year.
Okay, so, but I know you just recently came down here. You were here for almost a month, and you took away, and there were so many questions that came in about, you know, people wanting to know what you do on a consistent basis to build your business and stuff like that. And I think that this, addressing what we're about to address, is going to answer all these questions. Because I remember you called me up after you went to Australia, and you had this huge aha moment of you kind of shifted from enabling people to empowering people. And that was your big takeaway from visiting Australia. Can you just kind of elaborate on how everything's kind of shifted for you and what your main takeaways were since you've gotten back?
Yeah, that entire trip was life-changing. It was the best trip of my life. It was so much fun, so many kangaroos in all different forms. It was awesome. But I learned so much just by observing, and I was actually like super blessed because I got to hang out with, you know, Jacob Leaf and Mary Hardy. I got to hang out with Ben Kelly. I got to see like how they functioned and the way that they worked. And it's completely different than what I'm used to, especially here in America. First of all, Americans, go to Australia. It'll freak you out how real they are. They're so real. And that's something that I really, really admired about them. It's a no fluff type of culture. And I loved that. It was like you get what you get when you go there. And they're going to speak the truth no matter what. And they're not going to fluff things up. One of the things that I learned that I loved, because I'm passionate, but I don't want to be fluffy. I want my words to carry weight. And so I was observing and I was listening to three-way calls, and I was like, what are they saying? What are they doing? They're in momentum right now. What is happening? And so one of the things that I loved and that I will implement in my business forever is that when they spoke to people from the very beginning, like the very first call, they let them know the opportunity that they had to be as successful as they wanted to be in Isagenix. They built the vision that they could become an Isagenix millionaire. They built the vision that you could create 6 figures of residual income. But they let them know from the very beginning that it wasn't going to happen overnight. That it's not going to happen. You're not going to make 6 figures of residual income within 3 months. Yes, does that happen? Absolutely. But the majority of the people don't do that. So they set people up for success from the very beginning. They didn't fluff things up for them. And I love that because we're a lot of fluff here in America. I'm fluffy. I've been there. I've done that. I'll be the first to admit that I fluff things up, especially because I am the way that I am. But after hearing them speak so raw and so real, there was a trust that happened, even in a first conversation. The person that was on the other line trusted them, that they would take them under their wing, be their greatest cheerleader, greatest encourager, but they weren't going to hold their hand every step of the way. They trusted that if they said yes to this opportunity, that they would have success, but they knew that it was going to be hard work. Because if you want to make 6 figures of residual income in Isagenix, it's hard work. It's not going to happen overnight. Every single person has the same exact opportunity to get there. You are not limited. I never went to college. I made a 16 on my ACT. I made 6 figures of residual income when I turned 23 years old. Anybody can do network marketing. But I love the fact that they set people up for success from the beginning. Because if they wouldn't have done that, 3 months later when they weren't making 6 figures of residual income, they could just quit and say, well, I thought that I was going to be doing this. But instead they didn't do that. And I really admired that. The other thing that I admired, and my biggest takeaway from Australia, was enabling versus empowering. And it's huge. It shifted everything in my business, everything. I had a conversation with Ben, and he was like, hey, Audrey, how are the events going in Knoxville now that you're here? And I'm like, oh, like, they're not really. And he was like, well, why? And I was like, well, because I run them. And he said, well, you need to stop. You need to stop running them and allow your team to step into it. And I was like, oh? I was like, oh my gosh, like, he's right. He's right. Like, I need to stop enabling people and start empowering them to walk in the leadership that they're supposed to walk in, to become the leaders that they need to be so that they can carry the next 100 to 1,000 people on this journey as well. So I came back from Australia with an entirely new mentality to empower people, to set them up for success from the beginning, to give them the tools that they needed, to be their biggest supporter, their biggest encourager, and their biggest cheerleader, but not be someone that just lays everything out there for them. Not be the one to carry the entire team. To tell people, hey, you're going to rise up, you're going to learn how to do this so that you can lead thousands of other people. You say you want to be a 6-figure residual income earner. Well, it's time to step into that role. So when I came back from Australia, I was like, I'm going to take a step back. Everybody's going to start doing stuff. Other people are going to start leading team calls. Other people are going to start doing the events. We're going to start doing PowerPoints. I never did PowerPoints before. I go to a Wellness Wednesday, they have these PowerPoints up, and they have 300 people there. I'm like, they're doing something right. Because if people are not duplicatable, but systems are. So simple systems such as the Start Your Life presentation for events is duplicatable. Now every single person on college campuses, we're all using the same exact PowerPoint from the Start Your Life website. So from that point on, as soon as I got back, it was like, boom. It stopped from me holding people's hands into saying, you're good enough. You've got everything that it takes. Now go. And just like kicking them out of the nest. And as soon as I did that, it was like everything just started to soar. And I was like, thank you, Kangaland. Thank you.
I mean, yeah, I think everything you said is so powerful there. Allowing people to kind of step into their greatness, and it could start with somebody just opening up the room, or sharing their 30-second Isagenix story instead of you doing all the work. I mean, it's amazing just allowing somebody to do that. I mean, we saw that on the Start Facebook page when we had everybody share their 30-second stories about just taking those little baby steps of getting outside your comfort zone and empowering people forward, and stepping into leadership, is massive. And
Yeah.
and so you talked about kind of being that, that everybody says over here, be that tour guide and cheerleader, really setting people up for success. So what? Let's say I'm brand new, and you just got me started, and I'm ready to go. How would you kind of coach me and set me up for success without kind of holding my hand and doing everything for me? Maybe give me an example of how you would have done it before, and then now how you're doing it.
Well, so what I've done before and what I do now in the very beginning are the exact same thing. I build belief, and that's so important. Build belief in people, because sometimes they don't believe it themselves yet. It's our job when you bring someone into Isagenix. It's our job to love them, to care for them, to show them, to coach them, and to give them the tools that they need to be successful, period. Sometimes people need to know that they're worth it. Everybody needs to know that they're worth it. So I always build that belief inside of people from the very beginning. After that happened previously, before, all the empowerment happened, I don't really even remember what I would have done. I don't know. Can I just tell you what I would do now?
Yeah, no, just tell me. Yeah, that's what we want.
I don't remember. I don't want to remember.
That's okay. You don't have to remember that.
So what I do now is I build the belief, and then I set them up with a simple system. So Isagenixbusiness.com is so simple. It's so simple. 90-day game plan. Boom. Done. Seriously. I mean, I never did that before. I never did that before. I never did that, but what was I thinking? I don't know. Somehow it still happened. But now things are happening so much quicker because of Isagenixbusiness.com. Anna and Morg said something that was so awesome on their Start Talk. They were like talking about somebody saying, well, I can't do this, or, oh, I can't do this because I'm not you. And they've never had that issue because they always point them to Isagenixbusiness.com. So as soon as they enroll in the system, I build their belief and I point them to Isagenixbusiness.com, period. And I show them. I like to do 4 very simple steps. I like to have them make a list, connect, and by connect, I mean show them how to talk to people. Show them not to be weird. Connect with them through Facebook, through a text message, in person. After you connect with them, give them a tool. Send them a tool. The Isagenix Difference video is awesome. The new Start tool that you just made is unbelievable. And as soon as you send them a tool, they're either going to be interested or not interested. So as soon as they're interested, get them on a 3-way call immediately. You want to go from online to offline as quickly as possible. And those are the really Isagenixbusiness.com 4 simple steps, and it's really easily duplicatable. People can make a list, they can connect, they can send a tool, and then you can get on a 3-way call, and you do that all day, and it's like people are enrolling out the wazoo.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I know you mentioned the 90-day game plan, and I want everybody to realize that, there's kind of a conception that, the 90-day game plan, it's this, massive 90-day blitz where you're working 13, 14 hours a day. It can be that, absolutely, but it can also just be a roadmap for success where you can develop your 90-day game plan and you say, hey, I'm going to fit this into the pockets of my life and focus every 2 hours. I'm going to focus on those things that you just said, making my list, connecting with people, showing them a tool, doing a 3-way call, following up, and enrolling. And I think that's huge. So the 90-day game plan doesn't have to be some massive, huge blitz. It's just
and the thing is if you don't know exactly what to say, that's okay. I mean, it's okay. You don't have to be perfect at all, and you don't need to think that you can't talk to someone about Isagenix if you don't know everything. I promise. I still sometimes spit on people when I'm talking to them. Like, it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. If you know exactly where you're going in this company, if you know exactly where you're going, you'll be able to lead people down that same exact path. Where do you want to go? Do you want to be a millionaire in this company? Do you want to make $500 a week? If you're firm on that, when you talk to people about Isagenix, they're going to feel that confidence from you, and they're going to want to be a part of what you have to say. But if you're kind of just like, I found this Isagenix and it's this nutritional cleansing system and I did this, they're going to be like, what? But if you say, I lost 35 pounds in 6 weeks, unbelievable, residual income, they're going to say, whoa, I don't know what this girl is on, but what is that? So it's just like, you don't have to know everything to say, and there are scripts in the 90-day game plan on isagenixbusiness.com that you can just look at, memorize it, and say it. So it's easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just love these start talks, because every single person that I've asked that question to, you know, Kelly and Tyler, Emily and Hayden, Zach and Eden, you, Ann and Morgan, it's all the same thing. It's the system for success is isagenixbusiness.com. They're plugging them into Isagenix Business, walking them through the steps, getting them plugged into the 90-day game plan, and they all say the exact same thing about, you know, how to connect with people. It's not about, you know, I know Pete always says, just don't be weird. Like, that's the biggest, like, piece of advice that everybody can give everybody. Just connect with people like you're a normal human being. Find out what they love. Find out what interests them. And, you know, what we talked about earlier in the call about you pulling the vision or asking that powerful question and pulling their vision out of them is huge. And then just sharing with them authentically your results and how Isagenix has made a difference in your life. That's what they want to really be a part of. And the more I think that we work that muscle of doing that, the more that muscle is going to build, and the more comfortable we're going to feel with just becoming masterful at just opening conversation with people, connecting with people, and meeting new people.
Yeah, it's simple, really. You go out to the mall. I mean, you go out to the mall and you just strike up a conversation with someone without an intention of trying to enroll them. Get to know someone. People are beautiful. All different types of people. I'm in love with people. People are incredible. Their hearts are so precious. If you get into a conversation with someone and Isagenix isn't the first thing that you talk about, that's okay. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't walk up to someone and be like, hey, I've got this Isagenix. That's weird. But you walk up to someone, like I saw a girl the other day, she was just fabulous. She had incredible hair, and I could look at her and I was like, okay, she's smiling, she's incredible. And I walked up to her and I was like, dude, you have really good hair. I was like, I love it. I love your hair. And she's like, oh, thank you so much. And I was like, and a really good personality. What do you do here? And she was like, I work at the perfume counter. I was like, oh, do you love that? And she was like, I mean, it's okay. It's just, it's a job. And I was like, you have such a good personality. You would just be really good at what I do. And she was like, well, what do you do? And bam, the conversation just came up. And it doesn't have to be weird by any means. It's just you connecting with people for the sake of getting to know someone.
Exactly. And I think if we all just got really incredible at becoming so interested in people, it would be amazing what would start to happen, and just finding out what, you know, people love and their passions and stuff like that, and then, you know, realizing that little hot buttons come up like that. You said, you know, the perfume lady didn't like her job. Well, that's a little, you know, hot button that, you know, the person doesn't like her job. So, you know, we could have a solution for that with you know, of course, Isagenix and our wealth creation solution. Or if somebody's feeling tired and lethargic, obviously we have a solution to that. So it's just about becoming interested in people.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on here, let's see. We had a question from Farah Razuri Vargas, and she wanted to know just one thing that, and I remember when we went to Knoxville, when I was in Knoxville, somebody asked you, you know, what's kind of that one thing that you kind of learned on your journey that's really propelled you to success, and you mentioned the word consistency. I mean, being consistent over time. And Farah actually wanted to know what's that one thing that you are always making sure you're doing consistently on a daily basis to grow your Isagenix business.
Oh, that's so good. I just did a call yesterday on how consistency brings forth results, and it's so true. consistency brings forth results. It doesn't matter if it takes you a year, if it takes you 2 years, if it takes you 3 years, if it takes you 10 years. Be consistent and you will go as far as you want to go. So for me, the one thing that I do on a consistent daily basis is every single day I wake up and I read my Bible, and then I do go into some type of personal development right after that. So for 1 hour in the very beginning, that is exactly what I do, because if I'm not getting filled every single morning, I'm never going to be able to give out. I will never be able to pour out any type of love. I will never be able to pour out any type of wisdom. I will never be able to pour out any type of hope for other people unless I'm investing in myself. So for me, I spend 1 hour every single day growing my own personal life. For me, it's the Bible and it's with the Lord for 30 minutes, and then I get on 30-minute call, some type of daily consistent to build the inspiration, the encouragement, the motivation to get me fired up for my day, and I will not miss a day. I do that every single day, and I've done that since the day that I started Isagenix. And I will say that it's because of that a lot of things have happened, because of just building that inside of myself.
I love that. I mean, that's such a huge key with everything is, investing in ourselves, working on ourselves, and it's amazing what starts to happen when we start to work on ourselves and start to develop personally and know that we're getting better. It's amazing to start seeing who starts showing up in our life, because we start really attracting who we are, and that's an incredible thing. And I love what you said about really filling yourself up, making sure that you're full to start your day, so that you can go out and fill up other people. Because if you're starting your day empty, it's hard to fill other people's cups up when your cup's empty.
Exactly.
I think that
you can't do it.
Yeah.
At all.
So this has been like the best call ever. It's so much great stuff here. I mean, if you could maybe just leave people with, if somebody were just to say, whisper something in your ear in the very beginning, when you were starting your journey, about something that you wish you would have known when you first would have started, what would that kind of one thing be? What would that one piece of advice or one thing be because there's so many, especially with like college students coming in, people are just stepping into leadership. We're young, between 18 and 35, and and you've been doing this now for almost 3 years, I think, and you've learned a lot along the way. 2 years. 2 years. You've learned a lot along the way, and so to kind of cut people's kind of track in half, what would you what piece of advice would you give to them?
I've been stuck on this, and I actually talked a little bit about this when I was in Australia, because if I would have started from the beginning knowing this, I think that I could have been a lot further along than I am now. But I love the journey. Embrace the journey. Embrace your journey and love every moment of every up and every down. But I functioned from a place of emotion from the very beginning. And emotions are great. I'm really emotional. I love, and then I go on these emotions. I'm just an emotional person. However, if you're emotional when you're building your Isagenix business, then your business goes up and down just like your emotions do. So when somebody enrolls, you go on an emotional high, and then let's just say that person drops off, then you go on an emotional low. And then let's say you really talk to someone that's incredible and they're going to enroll, and you're like, yeah, this person's really going to take off with me, and then they don't, and then you go down. And so for a very long period of time in my beginning, I was on an emotional roller coaster. I wanted to quit 20 to 30 different times. I love raw, I love real, and I want you guys to know who are listening in that I struggled. I wanted to quit. It took me a year to hit executive. You guys are doing it in 2 months? Some of you guys are doing it in 1 month. It's incredible. So I want you to know that I thought about quitting. I started events, and for 3 months, nobody showed up. But I was on this emotional roller coaster. When my mindset changed and I started to function from a place of knowledge, from a place of knowing exactly who I was and exactly where I was going in Isagenix, that I was going to be making 6 figures of residual income by the time I turned 23, that I am going to be a millionaire in Isagenix, that anybody that joins this team is going to go to the very top of this company. When I started to shift my mindset into knowing that it didn't matter how many people told me no, it didn't matter how many people said yes and then decided they didn't want to order again, that I was still going to do this, everything shifted. Everything changed. People started coming to me when I made that shift in my own mind. It starts with you. The shift starts with you. You can change your mindset right now in this one moment, that after this start call is over, your business and your life will be changed forever. You can decide right now that you're no longer going to function from emotion. You're not going to get upset that you're not making 6 figures of residual income right now, because you know that with this opportunity, you can. When you start to function like that, your business starts to go up. It doesn't go on an emotional roller coaster anymore. When you function from a place of knowledge of knowing that you are going to the top of this company, and it doesn't matter who's coming with you and who's not, you're going, this is what happens. And as soon as I made that shift, everything changed. And that's the very first thing that I will teach anybody who comes into the organization now, is that. Because I don't want people to go on an emotional roller coaster, because it's draining. And we don't have to be drained. This business is so fun. Oh my gosh, I could not do this if it wasn't fun. It is so fun. And when you start to change that mindset, everything starts to flow.
I mean, that is just so powerful, and I mean, I just can't tell you how inspiring you are. Your passion and your mindset and just everything. It's inspiring to everyone watching the call, and what you've done for this movement with your passion is just. It's just incredible, and I know you've got such a huge heart that wants to help everybody in the START movement and in Isagenix. And just by giving your time today and tonight, I know that so many people are going to be moved into action, and like you said, making that decision just one time that they're going to do this. I mean, you talk so much about managing expectations. You know, hey, you can earn a 6-figure income in this. It's not going to be easy. It's probably not going to happen in 3 months. And with the amount of momentum that people are experiencing right now, you know, with people shooting up the ranks, hitting executive in a month, 2 months, whatever, it's easy to get in that comparison mode. But realizing, like you said, everybody's on their own journey. If you kind of go with the mindset that we're just going to invest, you know, 5, 10, 15 years into this, have that long-term mindset and decide once that we're going to do this, that's setting people up for success. So I just can't thank you enough for joining us tonight, and everything you are for all of Isagenix, and as a START ambassador, we love you so much, and we miss you here in Oz.
Go ride a kangaroo, pet a kangaroo, feed a kangaroo, love a kangaroo.
We'll bring an inflatable one home for you.
Please do. I don't have enough here in my room right now. Like, everything is Australian on this side right here.
Okay. All right, Audrey. Well, thanks again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.